Hello there, it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist. Welcome to Star Codes, the podcast where we look at an upcoming event in the stars and numbers, the astrology and numerology. And in this case, it is an event that already began and will last for a year and a half and actually happens at a pivotal time, meaning January 11th through April 2026. And that is that the nodes changed signs from Aries, Libra to Pisces, Virgo, and it's such a major symbolic shift. First of all, the number 11 is double new beginnings. This is a change into mutable signs, which are all about changeable conditions, and we're in a 9 universal year, which is a year of endings, and we're celebrating all the slow-moving planets entering new signs, so going to a new beginnings. So there's an endings, new beginnings theme. And then when you add the fact that the North Node is moving from Aries into Pisces because the nodes move backwards, Pisces is the final sign, Aries is the first sign. So again, beginnings, endings, merging, even symbolically there. Plus, we have more about Pisces in a moment. So the lunar nodes are not planets. They're mathematical points between the sun and the moon that are linked to our eclipse cycles. So the North Node and the South Node are always directly opposite each other, which they create this axis, and it becomes really highly charged during eclipse season. And so the nodal axis in your birth chart, which shows the North Node and South Node, it indicates what your purpose is, what your destiny is in your North Node, and the South Node is what it is that you've brought with you in terms of your gifts, what you've already learned and discovered. And it also is connected to our relationships as well. The nodal cycles last between 18 and 19 years. And since July 2022, the North and South Nodes have been in the axis of Aries, Libra, which are cardinal signs of new beginnings, which is why the majority of eclipses over the last year and a half have been in those signs of Aries and Libra. And now we're signaling in a new journey of deep spiritual growth. And that is because Virgo and Pisces are deeply spiritual signs. And like I said, mutable signs of transformation, mellifluousness, change. So it's not set in stone. It is more about being able to let go and embrace your creativity and embrace your heart and embrace healing. So on this Pisces Virgo axis, the North Node is in Pisces, the South Node is in Virgo, and it's really significant because we are balancing Virgo, practical, detail-oriented energy with Piscean, dreamy, spiritual, compassionate, release, and big vision energy. Both Virgo and Pisces are deeply connected to health and healing, where Virgo symbolizes health in a practical way through healing, using, for example, essential oils or being massaged or reflexology or a chiropractor, anything that uses crystals or hands-on, Reiki. And then Pisces is about the spiritual, heart-centered healing. So Virgo heals with precision and organization and in a very practical way of deep service. And Pisces heals through being surrendered, through compassion and spirituality. And the North Node is in Pisces. That means we're moving into a period now where our healing will be through surrender. So the combination of these two signs, they really teach us the importance of integrating the earthly with the ethereal. Earth and ethereal. These are the two that need to, for example, when you look at logic and intuition or intellectual approach versus the intuitive approach or the spiritual approach, it's really important to have both the structure and the flow that moves around the structure. And this is what these signs represent. So the North Node in Pisces is about our faith in the creative process, in the divine, really making sure that we trust that connection And of course, that comes through the heart, and it encourages us to trust what is unseen, what is coming to us from the unseen, from something that is not literally viable and tangible, but it is extremely potent. In fact, even more reliable in many senses because it is abstract and there's no interference energy through the intellect. And that's where the imagination and intuition come in. So we're finding more meaning in being still, for example, in beauty, which Pisces is aligned with, the intangibleness that you cannot describe. And it's really being open to going beyond reason and embracing your vulnerability. So not to be a victim, but to be open to surrender so that your ego is literally melts away and your heart takes over and you have the intelligence of the heart that is activated instead of the intellect of the ego. So there's a lot of spiritual understanding that comes from this shift. Maybe a deeper focus on religion and religious issues, a lot of creative innovation, changes in our music, changes in our entertainment industry, making it more spiritual. Also, endings are covered, just like in our 9 universal year in numerology for 2025, which is the final single digit, number 9, and covers culmination and endings and surrender and letting go, release. We have the same with this Piscean energy. There's more compassion, just like with the number 9 is unconditional love. Very similar themes. In fact, they go hand in hand with each other. So you have a more holistic viewpoint of your life, and you're more open to the supernatural. You're more open to alternative healing modalities, which is also where the Virgo sense comes in, or Virgo's where the South Node is. So we're bringing our knowledge of our abilities to use the bounties of the earth to heal, or energy healing, and we're really taking it to another level. Now, the shadow side of Pisces is that we have a difficult time discerning fact from fiction. So there can be sometimes misinformation and we take it for granted and we are too idealistic, for example, or gullible or naive. So there can also be sometimes confusion with Pisces when it comes to what do I believe, what is actually true. Also with Pisces, the 12th sign and the 12th house in astrology. So you have 12 houses that govern different parts of your life. And the 12th house in each of our birth charts governs the unseen, the unconscious, and also mental health. And so there will be a focus more on being healthy mentally and not being in a place of judgment of those who think differently or just have a unique viewpoint. A shadow side, another one to bring up is commitment can be difficult sometimes because Pisces is not about structure and responsibility. It can be more directionless because it encompasses everything. So it's really we are all one energy, brotherhood, sisterhood energy, and then there sometimes can be a lack of border or creating boundaries. So keep that in mind. That will be an important factor. Now, the main thing about Pisces, though, is the energy is extremely spiritual. It encourages us to step outside of physical dimensions, more into multidimensional dimensions or abstract dimensions that we really need to use our imagination and our intuition to understand and feel. And when used in a positive way, this Piscean North Node energy can really help us feel creation to the core and step into a sense of abundance. Pisces is a hugely abundant sign, and it's about tremendous possibilities because it's borderless. So you can reach beyond what you can even imagine. And on a societal level and a collective level, we feel more compassion for each other because we're reaching out and holding each other's hand. And so we will have experiences that will pull us together as human beings, as opposed to being on different sides of the coin per se. So we need to remain very open-minded, very tolerant, very accepting. We need to understand that when we feel something that is true to us, it doesn't apply to anybody else, that everybody has their own way of experiencing whatever that situation is. And we need to rely also on the gifts of the South Node in Virgo, because that's where our strengths that lie that we already have. So we're building upon those strengths. The South Node generally represents what we've already mastered. And so it's helping us to navigate the North Node energies, but at the same time, we need to move away from the South Node energy in order to progress. And the progression is, in this case, Pisces, the spirituality, the compassion, right? Now, Virgo, like Pisces, is a very compassionate sign. It's about service, but Virgo is more grounded. It's very organized. It's an earth sign, whereas Pisces is a water sign. Virgo is methodical and organized, and it takes a down-to-earth approach. And Piscean energy isn't as rigid, so it's not rooted in the earth. It's more flexible, more free. And where Virgo needs plans, Piscean energy might find it difficult to adhere to a plan, or find it limiting to commit to a plan at all. So we are now building up out of our earth groundedness and the practical sense of how we accomplish, and moving into more free-flowing, open-minded, open-ended, and all-encompassing embrace of peace, being less rigid, letting go of beliefs that are written in stone. And yes, we're keeping our feet on the ground, but we need to put our head in the clouds too. We need to experience the vision beyond what is actually seen. So we're bringing those into balance. And this is how our spiritual gifts will grow tremendously as we remain rooted in safety and security while pushing the comfort zone and going beyond what we limited ourselves before. We're going into the creation process and always relying on the Virgo strength that we've already cultivated and moving into our true power, which is our spiritual strength. So there's a lot of wisdom in this code. There's true divine knowledge that's coming through. There's so much heart-centered energy that is leading us away from judgment and intellectualizing life and coming to everything from the head as opposed to the heart. And the eclipses, interestingly enough, most of them in the Pisces-Virgo eclipse axis are going to be lunar eclipses, and that means they're full moons. We had one already on September 18th, 2024. That was a Pisces lunar eclipse. And coming up on March 13th in 2025, we have a Virgo lunar eclipse. Then on September 7th this year, we have a Pisces lunar eclipse. Again, these are all full moons. There's only one new moon eclipse out of all of the 7 that are on this axis. And that happens on September 21st, 2025. It's a Virgo solar eclipse. But then we have a Virgo lunar eclipse March 3rd next year, a Pisces lunar eclipse August 28th in 2026, and then finally a Virgo lunar eclipse February 20th, 2027. So 6 out of the 7 eclipses are lunar eclipses. What does this mean? Well, lunar full moon is culmination. It is endings. It is coming to the fullness of the ripeness. The new moon is new beginnings. So again, we have this theme of endings and letting go. So we need to really be aware that these cycles we're going through now, again, it all started with the nodes shifting on the 11th of January, that master number of double new beginnings. The cycles we're going through now, numerologically and astrologically, are all about this pivotal shift. It's really incredible. And 2025 also happens to be the very middle year of our decade on top of everything else. So there's really a stunning code. It symbolizes so much regarding us being very open because the transformation is upon us, and we need to just truly focus on release and surrender this year. So To support you with this incredible awakening, I have a free, wonderful masterclass, How to Master Your Stars. You can watch it at spiritualmasteryclass.com. It is free, it is instant access, and it'll help you take your spiritual power back. We cover the true meaning of your rising sign. We cover your natal sun and natal moon's important impact on living an abundant and happy life. We also focus on subtle energies, spiritual energies, for example, the difference between individuality and uniqueness, and how to instantly connect with spirit, and so many more secret tools that are really useful in a year like this. It's not easy to surrender. It's not easy to let go, to release, but it is absolutely vital that we go with the flow this year and accept that endings will happen, and that the result of the endings is a total new birth, just as we're leaving the Piscean age and moving into the Aquarian age as well. So it's an incredible time, and I hope you enjoy that free masterclass at spiritualmasteryclass.com. And have a beautiful week, and I will see you in next week's Star Codes podcast. Lots of love.